Good day. Welcome to Information Technology Strategies course, and I am calling the Tupas, your second reporter for the topic Understanding the ICT and the Computers. So let's start with the subtopic Evolution of ICT in Education. Anderson and GLEN explain the origins of educational application of the term Information and Communication Technology or ICT as deriving from the previous terms like Information Technology, the IT, and New Technologies. They commented that the addition of communication to information technology, emphasizing the growing importance attributed to the communication aspects of new technologies. ICT is defined as generally related to those technologies that are used for accessing and gathering, manipulating and presenting or communicating information. The technologies could include hardware, example we have computers and other devices, the software applications and the connectivity like the access to the internet, local networking, infrastructure, and video conferencing. ICT refers to information handling tools that are used to generate, store, process, distribute, and share information. The use ICT in education is obviously not a new rally for the protection and promotion of life. There are many evidences that the use of ICT in education provides positive pedagogical, social, and economic benefits. The Philippine Commission on Information and Communications Technology defined ICT as the totality of electronic means for end users such as computer systems, office systems, and consumer electronics, as well as network information infrastructure, the components of which include the telephone system, the internet, fax machines, and computers. According to Okibukola, the quality is judgment, which determines the extent of preparation and efficiency of teachers' adequacy and accessibility of materials and facilities needed for effective teaching and learning, and how the teachers can cope with the challenges ahead of their child. ICT in education has at least 4 stages. Number 1, we have emerging stage, which means awareness. Number 2, applying stage, which means learning. Number 3, infusing stage, which means the use and integration into the curriculum. And finally, we have transforming stage, which means innovative learning by developing new ways of teaching and learning using the ICT. For developed countries, ICT in education is undeniably has produced significant positive impact. ICT is changing the developed world as to attitudes and approaches to education. Education in these countries becomes more flexible, accommodating, and increases reach of potential learners. E-learning, blended learning, open and distance learning, learner-centered environment, mobile learning are just few dramatic changes in these countries. ICT generally change the way students learn, the way teachers teach, and the way school operates. In contrary, ICT in education in the developing countries has been a long way to go, and ICT infusion in education is an emerging issue. On the positive side, government, non-government organizations, industries, and other stakeholders have closely worked together to promote ICT for the promotion and betterment of life of every citizen. A good illustration of the evolution of ICT and education is the Singapore's ICT Master Plan in Education that was cited in UNESCO in 2011. It has 3-level goals of ICT in education. So let's start. During the year 1997 to 2002, describe the stage of shifting from one acquisition mode of learning to one that engages higher order thinking like application, synthesis, and evaluation. The internet, email, and video conferencing tools were among the example tools used. The second is the year 2003 to 2008, described the shift learning from information receiving to information processing and knowledge creation. Integration of ICT into the curriculum and leveraging ICT for formative assessment and summative assessments are among the implementing tools on this stage. And finally, 2009 to 2014. It aims to have better integration of ICT right from the planning of curriculum and assessment, and calls for teachers to consider pedagogical applications of ICT starting from lessons design and planning stage. The second subtopic is about the roles and functions of computers. There is evidence that to be effective in education, ICT must be fully integrated into the pedagogy. Specifically, when teaching literacy and math using ICT in combination with writing to learn produces better results than traditional methods alone or ICT alone. The United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, the UNESCO, a division of United Nations, has made integrating ICT into education part of its efforts to ensure equity and access to education. The following, taken directly from a UNESCO publication on educational ICT, explains the organization's position on the initiative. Information and communication technology can contribute to universal access to education, equity in education, the delivery of quality learning and teaching, teachers' professional development, and more efficient education management, governance, and administration. UNESCO takes a holistic and comprehensive approach to promote ICT in education. Access, inclusion, and quality are among the main challenges they can address. The organization's INTERSECTORAL platform for ICT in education focuses on these issues through the joint work of 3 of its sectors. We have the communication and information, the education, and the science. Despite the power of computers to enhance and reform teaching and learning practices, improper implementation is a widespread issue beyond the reach of increased funding and technological advances, with little evidence that teachers and tutors are properly integrating ICT into everyday learning. Intrinsic barriers such as a belief in more traditional teaching practices and individual attitudes towards computers in education, as well as the teacher's own comfort with computers and their ability to use them, as result in varying effectiveness in the integration of ICT in the classroom. So, what are the positive impact of ICT on education? Number 1, ensure lifelong learning, which lifelong learning can be ensured by e-learning or e-education. Number 2, enables distance learning. Number 3, a teacher teaching his students through the use of ICT even though geographically dispersed. And finally, we have number 4, we can access teaching materials and experts all over the world. My reference for this report was taken from Essay SOS, The Evolution of ICT in Education, which is available from essayssos.com, Information Technology Essays, The Evolution of ICT in Education, which I accessed last October 16, 2021. So that ends my topic. Thank you for listening. I am Colin D. Tupas, your reporter and presenter for this day. Thank you. And once again, good day. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.